Hello YouTubers and fellow V-dubbers. Okay, welcome back to my little humble channel once again if you've been here before. If you haven't been here before, then please consider subscribing. Click that button, do it now. So if you have been here before, car just ruining the shot. If you have been here before and you've watched some of my other videos, you will know that the last one I carpeted the lower seat base on my passenger seat. That turned out really nice. I really like the way it looks. So now it looks a bit odd because the driver's side's not been done. So guess what we're doing today? Yep, you guessed it, we're doing the driver's side. So first thing we need to do, because underneath my driver's seat we've got all my leisure battery. So the first thing we need to do is we need to isolate the battery, get that whipped out, get the seat base whipped out, take it apart, give it a good clean, and let's get the carpet on it. So first thing we need to do, disconnect the battery. I've already loosened it off. Get that tucked down there out of the way. Move around into the van. Okay, so underneath here we've got some bolts. Get this whipped out and see how we get on. So down the back here, a couple of 13mm bolts. So we're going to remove them from the back, then we'll slide the seat backwards so that we can get at the front. That will then allow us to get the seat out. Right, now to take the battery out. So this is my crude little setup. We've got my 100 amp cable coming in, fused this end as well, feeding my fuse box. Got my Victron smart controller from a solar panel. And if you're doing anything like this at home, right, you need to bear in mind that the solar panel will constantly be producing power even if it's not sunny. So bear that in mind when you start disconnecting cables from the controller. They will still be live. Okay, so to get this base out, we need to get the handbrake disconnected from the actual base. Okay, now to get the handbrake cover off, underneath here you should see a little tab. Okay, get your screwdriver in there, pull it down, and it should slide right off. So once the handbrake cover is off, you've got two 13mm bolts, one there, one there. Take them off. That will then come away from the actual base. Be careful and disconnect this little wire here, which sends the signal to your dash to tell you when the handbrake's on or off. Okay, then we've got four 17mm bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take them off. I've disconnected everything away from the base. Fingers crossed, it should just pop off. they're tight. Time to get a bigger socket. Help if I had the right bloody size. It must be a 16. Now this particular seat base, I've never had it off. So even with everything I've done to the van, I've never had this seat base off. So I hope I don't find any gremlins down here. Good opportunity again to give it a clean. Quite simple in its design, really, which is a bit unlike Volkswagen. There we are. Whoop, whoop. Right, so the base is washed and dried. So what we need to do is work out where we're going to put the seam, and I'm thinking probably this side, because this is going to be hidden behind the handbrake. So quickly work out how much material we need, cut it off, and we'll get started. So if you haven't watched my last video, right, it's important that you spray adhesive on both surfaces. Leave it to flash off for a minute or two. Okay, and it needs to be a high temperature. If you don't use a high temperature, the first hot day the thing will melt and it will just fall apart. So what we'll do is we'll get this sprayed up and let's get cracking. I think we need to start the crease about there. important that you just do a bit at a time and have some sort of card just to, so you can mask and get the edges. It is quite a forgiving material, so if you make a mistake you can peel it off, start again and just have some fun with it. Now I've decided to do this in 3 parts, so this side cut a seam about here because there's a natural feature there, this crease. Okay, I'll do the same there and then I'll start again, because the beauty of this stuff is you can hide the seams. Now you would never know that's there, right? And it's just easier to trim it as you go along. Well, I got that finished just in time before the wet stuff started falling out the sky. This was a bit more of a faff getting it around the handbrake bracket. Looks a little bit messy there, but I'm not too fussed because you're not going to see it. That's going to all be behind a cover. Also bought this off eBay as well. that's going to fit on the back there. So I'm going to get this trimmed up as well, and it should finish this rear section off quite nicely. So let's get this back in the van and get it put back together. Now it's just a case of putting everything back in reverse order. Typically it started raining. Good old Welsh summer. Handbrake. Remember to put the wire back in for the handbrake cable. Clunk, click. Now if you do tackle this job yourself, when you do come to take the handbrake off, remember to leave it in gear and chock your wheels. Disclaimer. Let me get the handbrake back up. Right. I'm going to go and finish my cup of coffee. So my cover that I bought off eBay would have finished this off fantastically, but where my battery goes, it doesn't quite fit. So I've had a bit of a brainwave because I've got so much material left and so much glue left. I have fashioned up a little homemade cover, and then we'll see how that looks. Fingers crossed. So this is what I've done. Made the cover, screwed in nice and tight up against the back instead of the cover I bought off eBay. Then what I also did, I made a cover to go here and I carpeted it. But the bugger doesn't fit, and the reason it doesn't fit is because the terminals on the leisure battery sit too high. So what I've done to get around it, I've got this old rubber mat sitting on top. That's just to stop any potential things bridging the live to the body of the car. And then, so all I've done is I've just got an old bit of thingy, put it on top, tucked it in on the back, okay, and once the seat's on there from the back, I think it's going to look okay. So I'm ready to get the seat in now, so let's crack on. Everything is back together. Check it out. That looks the dog's bollocks. Needs to get a new one of them because it won't close. But apart from that, I think that looks fantastic. Let me just show you the Kevin. So here's the back. That's what it looks like. You can see the blanket bit on the top that I made just hiding the battery, just tidies it up a little bit. And then that cover blends in really nice. And then got a screw there and a screw there. And the way to hide them is just cut a little slot, peel it back, screw, and then put the slot of the flap back over it. But yeah, I think that looks really nice. Right, we're all back together for the second time. I put everything back in and realised that there was no voltage showing on my voltmeter in the back of the van. Had a look underneath the seat. I'd knocked the wire out of the fuse box. I must have done it when I was putting the battery back in. Anyway, couldn't get this wire back into the fuse box. So guess what? Yes, I had to take everything out again. Seat, battery, the works. Yeah, fuming. Anyway, it's done, everything's back in, everything's working as it should. It's taken me a lot longer than I anticipated because I've done a few other jobs on the van as well. Anyway, all done. I think it looks good. Leave me a comment what you think of it, guys. And if you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing. Come back and see me again soon. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.